What we are going to talk now for about an hour is how to really move our clients from wherever they are at to a greater level of experience with us. What is the experience that they have with us? What do they think about us? How do we get them to feel better about us, more about us, all that kind of shenanigans. Okay? It is something that will create a disproportionate advantage and market dominance for yourself in your space, whatever that space looks like. It's called Experience Escalation. All right, so here is how the model is, and I'm going to take you one step at a time. Step one is always you address the problem of the market. Remember how we drew a stick figure at the bottom and said, speak to the audience where they're at? And remember the exercise we did yesterday where we said, what are the different problems that I solve for my people? And we listed it down. What are different situations that they're in? You always talk to the situation that people are in. A lot of people start getting into the idea of themselves. They start talking about what do I teach or what do I coach on instead of what do my people need. Right? So always be very mindful of understanding what the problem is. When you know what the problem is, the next step is usually to give them a solution, a small solution. This is what we just discussed with the webinar model. What do? We find, all right, you have a challenge with leadership. Let me solve that for you real quick. Here's a webinar teaching you the leadership framework. Oh, I see you have a problem finding your passion. Let me solve this for you real quick. Here's a webinar. Right? That's the first two steps, and that's cool. That gets you some trust. But guess what happens? Everybody does this. Right? And what happens most of the time is people forget why they joined them in the first place. Yes, they wanted that experience, but let's say they didn't say yes. Or even if they said yes, how do they keep getting value out of you? How do they stay engaged? How can you keep adding value to them every single time? Here's how I do it, and here's how you can do it too. Okay? This is by the way, here's a screenshot. If you didn't post the link yet, did we get the link up on Facebook group? So the link is already there, but this is an example of how you look at a problem where, in our scenario, become a better coach, become a six-figure coach, become extraordinary, and that would be a landing page or a page for a webinar that may look like something like that. Right? That's how you're finding a problem in the market and you're solving it. These slides will be available to you, so don't worry about it that much. They're all available on the Facebook group. All right, so we have found that. We have solved that problem by inviting them to webinars. There are more models of doing that, but we are just going to stick with webinars for the sake of context here. Once you have done, the next step is how can you solve further problems for your clients? Now, here's what happens. We think our clients are one-dimensional because we talk about only one type of things. Right? We start to think our clients only need to find out about leadership because I'm a leadership coach. Right? So all the content that we talk about is only leadership. That's all I'll talk about all day long. But guess what happens when you talk about that? You become a one-dimensional person for them. Who do we relate to? Another human being. How are human beings? We're not one-dimensional at all. We are multidimensional. We like things, we hate things. We are vegetarians, we are vegans. We work out, we don't work out. We eat green, we drink coffee. Multidimensional, right? We get sad, we're happy, we're emotional, we're not so emotional. We wear red shoes, we don't wear red shoes. Right? So what happens is because we stop to think about our people that we're interacting with as multidimensional, we start giving them content only across one dimension. But if we really want them to fall in love with us, we have to show our other sides. We have to become multidimensional people for them so they can finally see us. Because before that, they're just seeing one side of us. They're not really seeing us through and through. right? Which is where how-to content comes in. Here is how it looks like. I didn't check it, but it should work.
Rolling, rolling, baby. Rolling, 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 rolling,
Yeah. Okay,
rolling,
you can
rolling.
see goals, take 2.
This is my world. Hi there, this is Ajit Nawalkha.
I'm going to break this video down for you later.
Most coaches are excellent at helping their clients set and achieve goals. Unfortunately, we forget to take our own advice. We are this special breed that knows what's right, but somehow we decide not to do it. Here's the thing, goals help. We know that. And here are a few simple ways that will help you achieve your goals. Firstly, break them down. The most important thing when setting goals about your coaching style or your coaching business is to break your goals down. I want to build an amazing coaching practice, or I want to be a great coach, is not necessarily a goal. That's more like a vision. If you want to build an amazing coaching practice in the long term, then think about what that really means. Break that vision down into a goal. Maybe you want to increase your clients from 2 to 10 in the next 6 months. Maybe you want to increase your income by 20, 30%. Once you break it down, you make it measurable, you're more likely to take concrete steps to work towards it. Secondly, and this is my favorite, is be outrageous. I really don't buy this theory of achievable goals. When setting goals, you can't let the fear of failure hold you back. Be as bold, outrageous, and ambitious as you possibly can. When you strive to achieve something that feels so far out of your reach, you will find yourself more motivated and driven to work harder for it. Whether it's changing your payment package, being more selective about your clients, or working on a more powerful coaching technique, set goals that send you shooting for the stars. Once you set an outrageous goal, you stop asking yourself the "can I really do it" question. You leave yourself no choice but to just do it, and that's a great place to be. Thirdly, and it's important, you need to compete, but only with yourself. This one is crazy important. I know we've spent our whole lives being told that we live in a dog-eat-dog world, but we also know that's not really true. That's not how the world really works. You are not in competition with other coaches. Never pit yourself against others. Your goal cannot be focused around someone else's career or business. By all means, be inspired, but the most fatal mistake you can make is trying to compete with somebody else. It's not fair to you, and it's not fair to your clients. Make your goals about you. What you can do better, what you need to work on, what you need to focus on. Trust me, eventually, that is what will help you serve your clients a lot more powerfully. Lastly, you got to commit to your goals. Goals look beautiful on paper, but unfortunately, that isn't enough. Once you set yourself some goals, commit to them. Hold yourself accountable, remind yourself of them. Subconsciously, what you will notice tends to happen is that all the decisions you make start to automatically align themselves to your goals. That's the beauty of the human mind. Committing to them doesn't mean being limited by them. What it does mean is that you automatically start to cut out the irrelevant other stuff that you were wasting your time and energy on. It keeps you focused and takes you closer to realizing your goal. Remember, being coach is hard work, but you can build a practice of your dreams with dream clients. Just set yourself the right kind of goals and you will be surprised at the results. Thanks for watching the video. Go ahead and subscribe to our channels to get more fun educational videos like these. Go ahead and comment. Let us know what else would you like to watch from Evercoach, and give us a like. Thank you so much for watching again.
So I showed you the whole video so I can actually show you the entire structure after that, so you can replicate it if you want. Cool. So first of all, how do you find topics to create how-to videos like these? Most of the time you can do this by just looking at the commonly asked questions or doing competitive research. This basically means look at people who talk about similar ideas like yourself. For example, if it's leadership, look for the leadership channels and look for what they are talking about beyond just leadership. Another way of doing it, which is not here, I think, is look for what your clients talk about otherwise, right? I'm not a goals coach. I don't teach people how to set goals. I'm not a goal-setting guy. But I know that my audience does set goals. And they would like to know my view on how I do my goals, right? They would want to know, and even if they don't want to know, it'll be nice to know from another person's perspective. It's like having a conversation. So what I do is I list down, either I find competitive things, or I just go, what is the other things that I would want my audience to kind of know about how I do, which are maybe not related to what I really teach, right? So what I want you to do is actually, before we get into the structure of it, is take about 3 minutes and write down 10, 20 things that you can create how-to on. Like for leadership, it could be how to not feel overwhelmed if you're working with businesses. How to not feel overwhelmed, how to be more productive. Nothing to do with leadership coaching, but useful, right? If it's in the wellness, it could be the same thing, but from a different view, like different story that you're telling them, right? How to be more productive, but now from the place of how to manage your energies, let's say, right? Or you could talk about how to talk to your other family members, how to resolve conflict, which may be not something that you teach, but something that is useful. Now start to write questions that you think your people would love to know your input on. We'll do this for another 2 minutes. So write down as many. The more you write, the better it is. All right, that's good. So how many of you got at least 5 topics? Keep your hand raised if you got 10 topics, 15 topics. That's good. That's awesome. So the reason why I asked this is think about it like this. If you got 5 topics even, because most of you at least got 5, these are 5 videos that is content for your audience, and that you got in 2 minutes. So if you had 20, you will probably figure out 20, 30, at least 30 different topics. And this is when you have not done competitive research, nothing, like just from your mind. If you get 30 topics out of this, that's a new piece of content for your audience every week, pretty much. There are 52 weeks in a year. If you can find 50 topics, you're done. A new piece, not related to what you do already, to your audience, and something that you can probably think about right now how to create. Right? You don't have to kill yourself to create that content. Right now, if I put an iPhone in front of you and say, can you talk about this how-to that you just write about, you probably will go, yep, here it is. Here are the 3 ways to do this.
Is there a magic link?
I'm going to go into that now. Yeah. So here's what you want to do. Here's how your video should look like. First of all, understand why we are doing this. We want to build a relationship with our audience, which means you want to show your character. This is the reason why we show things that I do before a shoot. So you saw me dancing, doing stupid stuff, the clap of the thing. Realize how the video started? The video starts that way because it shows my character, right? You gotta know your character, who you are, what you're presenting. If that is not shown, the relationship doesn't get built over these videos. Then you go in, and then you introduce the problem that you're going to solve. I said most of the coaches talk about goals. They don't set their own goals. Here's how you set goals, right? Then you give 3 to 5 tips. That's the magic number. Usually that's enough. 3 is better. 5 if you really have to go there. And then you tell them to do something. I like to not tell them to buy anything ever. So none of my videos ever tell anybody to buy anything. They usually always only tell them to take a very small step. In my video that you just watched, it said, subscribe to my channel or like this video, leave a comment below if you think we can do something better, da, da, da. It's a really, really small step for them to say, yes, it was interesting, or yeah, I like it, right? So you always want people to not take action, which is so far out that they will not take it. Get them to take micro commitments, say micro yeses, because that's always easier for them. It builds that relationship that we are really intending to do during these videos. Cool? The magic length, if your primary channel, so it depends a bit on the channel that you're using. If your primary channel is YouTube, then it's 5 minutes, between 3 to 5 minutes. If your primary channel is Facebook, or the channel that you're going to use this is Facebook, then it's anywhere between 90 seconds to 2.5 minutes. Or 3 minutes even is fine, actually. Okay? But that's only the next layer. This is where you'll start to see more relationship with your audience. But here's what happens. There's so much how-to. How many videos on productivity are right now on YouTube? Just try to Google how to be more productive. It's insane amount, right? You built a connection beyond what you talk about, but you still haven't gone where there's an emotional relationship between you and your client, where they actually understand you, where they actually want to know what's going on in your head all the time. And that's where comes the next idea. It's called shared beliefs. Think about it like this. If you follow anything or anyone, politically, religiously, what are you really following? Yeah? Their belief systems or values. But how many times do you really talk about your beliefs to your audience? Never. Right? You never talk about what do you believe. Right? Or you talk about it once in a while, but there's no pattern to it. There's not consistency to it. They're not always knowing what do you really believe in, what's the values that you have, right? How are we expecting to build a following without actually sharing what we believe? Now, of course, it polarizes the audience as well, because a lot of people would not believe in what you believe, but that's okay. Polarizing only helps you because now only people who really believe in what you believe, without you being apologetic about who you are, you can communicate now, right? Because now you don't have to worry about if they like me or not, because you're like, that's what you got. You don't like me, it's okay. I'm just not going to talk to you. I'm going to talk to the guys who like me, right? I don't have to worry about it anymore. I don't have to think about it anymore. Polarizing actually helps you being able to fully show up and really create that impact that you want to create. Cool? So that's why you want to share the beliefs. Here is how to do it. I'm going to show you a video for it first, how we do it. I've been obsessed with this idea of not trying to become a leader in the space. And here's what I mean. What happens when we enter a space is we look up at these businesses that are doing better than where we are just starting out to. We start to think and start to emulate what they are doing. We try to go, what is it that they really do and how can I replicate that in my business? I don't know if I like that idea. Think about it this way. Our minds are expandable, right? Once an idea has been given to us and it expands it stretches what we can think and what we have imagined in life. Once it has been stretched, it's hard to go back. It doesn't go back, it only keeps going forward. Now, when you emulate another company, when you emulate a leader, for example, in your business, you try to become a leader of the leader, you try to be the lead in the industry, what happens is you've only stretched your mind as far as they have stretched their minds, which means you will only be able to go as far as they are going. But here's the problem with that. They haven't gone far enough. They haven't gone far enough. There is not enough disruption, dissociation, this entire new reality that waits to be created because you don't want to lead a space. You go in a space and what you want to do is dominate. You rule that environment by creating such a disruptive advantage that nobody else can catch up, and you change the fragment of that industry by creating a space that is absolutely new because you walked in there and you didn't ask the question, what is it that my competitors did? But you asked the even better question, which was, what is it that I'm going to do to absolutely dominate this space? Don't try to lead the space. Dominate it. Thank you. But that's a belief, right? It's a belief I have that if I go into a space, I don't go to just lead that space. I want to be the number one, or actually number one in that space. So that's a belief. And when you share that belief, you get an applause like that, because somebody who just shared that belief probably went, yay. Probably a lot of you went, yay, right? But that's why you're in the room, because we have a common shared belief. And when you have a common shared belief, you can create that following that goes beyond just another teacher in that space. Now, these videos look really fancy, but just to give you context of how easy it is, that video was done by one camera guy. So it was just one guy, and at a random restaurant that we were just sitting, and I was just talking. It's a single shot, so it's not that you have to book a place. You could do it right outside here. You could do it on the street. Actually, if you live in places like San Diego, light's always good. We had to kind of find the time when the light was at least okay for us to be able to get out. But the light's always good in a lot of parts of the world. So all you need is a camera person with saying, not even a stable tripod stand. It's like, yeah, you could do whatever. It's just a stream of thought, a belief that you have. All right? It comes not necessarily, like I want to give you where we got the ideas from as well, so you can see how to think about it, right? And you don't limit yourself to saying, oh, so that means I have to be in front of the camera and do it this way. No, the idea actually comes from this video. It's by Apple. It's called The Verse.
We don't read and write poetry because it's cute. We read and write poetry because we are members of the human race. And the human race is filled with passion. Medicine, law, business, engineering, these are noble pursuits and necessary to sustain life. But poetry, beauty, romance, love, these are what we stay alive for. To quote from Whitman, "O me, O life of the questions of these recurring, of the endless trains of the faithless, of cities filled with the foolish. What good amid these, O me, O life? Answer that you are here, that life exists, and identity. That the powerful play goes on and you may contribute a verse. That the powerful play goes on and you may contribute a verse. What will your verse be?"
Right? You see how that's a belief? Start with Robin Williams just saying whatever the belief is, right? It can be in any format. It doesn't have to be fast-paced like I talk sometimes. It doesn't have to be slow-paced. It doesn't matter. What matters is, are you okay and comfortable sharing your belief? And that's what most of the time we're not comfortable doing, right? If you can get comfortable with that, you can polarize and channel into the right audience that you really want to speak with. Okay? Here's how you find your beliefs. Is what do you believe in? And try to think these 4 areas usually gives you enough topics for you to create 52 items. I try to think everything 52 items because I'm thinking, well, if I can send a new thing every week, it usually is good enough, right? So what do you believe in about work? What do you believe in about love? What do you believe in about life? What do you believe in about relationships? What does that mean? What do you believe in about work? Do you believe in hard work? Do you not believe in hard work? Do you believe in being multi-passionate? Do you not believe in being multi-passionate? Do you believe in teams and the way teams are structured in a particular way? Do you believe in another way? What do you think about love? And don't be scared if you are in business or you teach leaders to talk about love or relationships. It's fine. You are multidimensional, so are they who's watching. They love you more that you give them the permission to be okay with it. What do you think about life? All right. You can keep doing this exercise later in your rooms or wherever to be able to see. You might need to process some stuff to be able to say, are you okay with certain beliefs? Because some of the stuff will come up and you'll think, that's too dark. Or I'm not sure if I really want to say it. It's okay to not say it at that time. But if you process it and you start to go, no, I actually really believe in it, it's okay to say it. Even if you feel that it's not the greatest belief to have, it's fine. There's something that I would have loved to do, but I don't think we'll have the time, but how you really develop a character, or how do you really develop yourself as a character for people to be able to see? That's a further progression of it. We may be doing it somewhere else, but definitely not at this event. We won't have the time, but that's something that if you work on really understanding your character and starting to think what polarizes people, what gets people attracted to you, you'll be able to do much more easily all this stuff and be able to be okay with the content that you come out with. All right, now we have got the shared beliefs. You've already built a really strong connection. But what you also need is for them to have an emotional experience with you. This usually happens either if you can tap into their emotions beyond your beliefs, so things that they may be feeling, or if you can tell stories. All right, so if you can tell them any story related to a particular thing, or you can tap into something that is there's an emotion that they would have, right? So here's a video that kind of shows you how you can tap into somebody's emotion.
It's the last goodbye, I swear. I have no regrets, for the past is behind me. Tomorrow reminds me just where. Can't quite see the end. How can I rely on my heart if I break it with my own two hands? I heard all you said, don't say anything. It's the last goodbye, I swear.
Kick ass, right? Yeah. So what is happening to you when you're watching this video is you can actually be a part of his experience. Right? So if you can make people feel what is the experience. So it's really hard to do that. That's high production. That would take a lot of money to do, which is why I wanted to show you how you can do it simply. But anyways, what you can do is if you tell stories around things, usually it gets people to come and join you in that experience because they would see their story. They don't see your story, they see their story. So if you remember how Lisa was telling the story about her writing a check about funding her dream, right? You saw that story. That story is a great experience escalation video, right? Because you can see your story. You understand funding the dream, but you understand how you were funding your dream, right? As much as you're seeing Lisa's story, you're seeing your story too, right? So that's how you show without doing the whole ninja stuff that Under Armour did here by capturing their life of an athlete, right? If an athlete would see it, somebody who is athletic would see it, totally sold on Under Armour at that point, and doesn't even talk about Under Armour until the last slide, right? That's how you create an emotional experience. Here's what I want you to think about, right? Think about relatable stories, any other thought processes you have, stories that led to the belief that you wrote previously. Those are usually good. Or any of the vulnerabilities that you're very scared to share. You could tell stories about how So let's say, for example, you might have made a video about how to not be overwhelmed. Talk about a story about when you were overwhelmed and how that felt, how you got past it. About a story when you might have thought of, oh, I want to build this for the future, but today sounds so daunting. A story or a philosophy around that would make a great video like this. So once you've got these down, what most people do is they get excited at events like these, they go make some videos, and then they'll not do it after a point. And that's the biggest reason why it doesn't work. No relationship is built in the first conversation. It's not possible. It takes time. It takes time for you to get okay with somebody else's belief. It takes time. So the biggest thing that you can do to make sure your business goes to whatever place you want it to go, it doesn't matter how big or what money you want to make, how many lives you want to impact, it really doesn't. How far you want to go, wherever your vision takes you, is possible with the same exact format if you do it consistently enough. Most businesses that I have worked with, or when I help them, don't work out because they somewhere forget the idea of saying you have to not just do it, but do it consistently. Not that spurt that one day I wake up and I do something. That's how businesses start to decline. Because there was a stage when they were consistent, when they were in high growth phase, and they were like, yeah, let's do it, and then they lose it, and then they start going towards the other side. They start going to decline, they start declining. And when businesses are not getting started, is the same reason, is because we're not trying consistently enough. We try one day, next day it depends on how our mood is. Right? And I know we need to manage personal energies, but that's why you need to build systems around saying, how do I do this consistently? Here's how I do it consistently. So you can be aware, and maybe that will work for you, maybe it will not. I'm just giving you my system of doing it. So I know I have to create these videos, right? Here's my ritual. Every month, and not right now because our business is already at a stage where I had to slow down a little bit because I was too fast. So, good problem, right? Is where we said, every month I will make a new webinar. It's just 1 month, every month I have to create a new training. New webinar I will create. For my audience, I'll find a problem, I will solve it for them. Every single month. For 6 months or 7 months straight, I did that. Every month I will make a new training. Right? It's easy enough. It's only one training a month. It's not hard. It's an hour in front of something, teaching one thing that I already know. I just have to put some slides together or put my face in front of a camera, whatever I prefer for that particular training, and just do it. You already have the information. You're just lazy to get it done, or you just don't find that energy because you think, oh, I have to do all this stuff. No, just one a month. That's all we need. That's all. An hour, 2 maybe. Just put that one thing together. Cool. Once you've done that, the next thing you do, how I create how-to content, is I say, so when I started, by the way, if you're uncomfortable with video, you have no idea how uncomfortable I was in front of a camera. I just had more desire to actually do it. So here's how uncomfortable I was. So I would go in front of the camera and I would be like, yeah, but I forgot what was the 3 steps. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how to beat overwhelm. No idea. So what I did is started writing it. So I started to write it, then I got somebody who to write it because my writing, as you saw, is like, I don't know how to spell things, I have no idea what grammar means, I don't know what's a comma, where it needs to go, no freaking idea. I just say whatever I gotta say. So I got somebody who actually knew how to form sentences and made those sentences for me. All we will agree on is what we are talking about. Right? And I said, all right, write it for me, put a teleprompter in front of me, I'll just say it. But of course, it's expensive to get a video guy every day or every week. No way. So what we would do is we'd say, all right, we'll do Wednesday, all day, I'll just read the teleprompter. Right? Now you're prepped, you're not going to make mistakes, and then you're reading a teleprompter, and the cameraman has to come only for 1 day and edit it after. More cost effective. Right? So we built a system how to create how-to videos. When I started, now I'm a lot more comfortable in front of the camera, so I don't need the transponder anymore, which is why now if you see my recent how-to videos, they're a lot more, I can go on a tangent and start talking about something and all that, but they're easier to watch as well because it doesn't look like I actually know everything to the dot. It shows a lot more personality, which I want to, because I want to polarize people. I want them to either love me or hate me. I don't want you to be, I don't want you to want to be or maybe, right? I want you to either love me or hate me, and it's fine either ways, right? So what I started doing, but when I started, wasn't that comfortable in front of camera, wasn't that confident. You don't have to be. All you need in the starting maybe is just a couple of bullet points, or sometimes I've seen people who are not even okay with teleprompters. They will make a big sheet of white paper. They would write it, everything that they want to say, put it right under the phone that they're recording with, and then record, right? Because anybody can do that. A stand on Amazon is $30, right? An iPhone stand is $30. You can shoot it in your home. Like, there are so many YouTube celebrities that started shooting from their home. If you want HD, get a Logitech HD camera, stick it on your computer, and that's like $50 or $60. You get HD, like it has a wide frame, you want to show all the fanciness you can. You don't even need a cameraman to get started. Just an HD camera. If you really want to get fancy, then you can get a Canon, you can get a camera person, all that kind of shenanigans. But you don't need it to get started. Right? Then, when it came to shared beliefs, again, I was not very comfortable, which is why if you really actually watch that video again, you will say how many things I say wrong in that video. I could spot it. I was like, I say words that don't even mean anything. If you were an English person, like in the sense of somebody who really watches grammar and everything, you'll be like, what the heck is this guy saying? Right? But everybody loves it because it's just the truth. What I am is what I am. You like it or you hate it, right? But I do it consistently. Again, that was done. I would take one camera person. I would say, like, we are going to do 4 of these in one go. And 4 only because I used to get really tired, because the shared beliefs, it was taking a lot out of me because I was saying something I wasn't comfortable with, right? Because it's something that's a belief, and you're like, I don't know if people will hate me for it. Like, a lot of people might hate me because I say, don't lead, dominate. It's like, why are you so aggressive? I'm like, well, it's not about aggression. That's just my philosophy, right? You don't have to agree to it. That's just my philosophy, right? So that would happen, but that's why I would structure it in a way that I can get it cost effectively and easy enough for me. So I designed the systems around how can I get it done more easily. The last bit of emotional experience is how I do it now is I take the person for a whole day. I take a camera person, I take them for the whole day, and I just find different locations, I stand and I talk. And these are shorter. I couldn't show you one, but they're usually around 90 seconds. So I can get through 20 of them in a day. Which is why, if you follow Evercoach, you would see a new video will come out every 2 or 3 days, right? Because first my consistency was, if I can do one in a week, actually for the shared beliefs one, it was once in 2 weeks, I was good. I was like, that's all I need. It does, and it was doing great, but I want to be so consistent, and because you saw my philosophy of dominating, now you'll see a video every 2 days, and slowly what we're trying to do is you'll see a new video every day, right? And that would just be different beliefs, different philosophies, different experiences, so you get more used to and comfortable with who this person is, what they stand for, what are they communicating, right? And I don't even have products, to be very honest. But because I'm building a brand, that's the people, what they associate with. The kind of authors I bring are those kind of people. Cool? Fair enough? Sounds good? Yes? Any questions to it? Come on, come to the mic. 8 minutes, okay. We're almost done.
I can go inside of 8 minutes.
Say that again?
I can go inside of 8 minutes. So I'm in a position right now where I have a lot of interest. I have a lot of like a growth mindset. I'm interested in a lot of things that Mindvalley does, but also other people do. So, and I get bombarded by newsletters and videos and adding great value. But how do you deal or pace that with clients where you don't want to get that association with like I can't keep, I don't want like not another one. For example, if you have newsletters coming to your business email, for example, and then it's like, it's just 10 of these today, right? I guess how do you pace that with like a video every day and versus, for example, once a week, to not get that association with that is too much or that, yeah.
So that's first of all your story. There is not too much.
Sure.
Right? It is too much if you're sending them 10 emails a day.
Sure. What I'm
Yes.
saying is that
because you're now into their space. So here's how you do it. Okay? So when you're going to their space, you can only go those many times, which is why email can be sent maybe once a day. Right? That's maybe the top you can do because you're going into their space. Email is their inbox. When they're on Facebook, it's Facebook space. You're not intruding. They can choose to just scroll down. But if you're interesting enough, they'll watch not one, but each one of them, even if you release 3 of them at that day. It doesn't matter. You're not intruding. You're actually, binge watching? Have you done binge watching? When people just can't stop watching the next video? On YouTube or Facebook? You've never done that? Dude, live a little. Yeah, don't go so much into growth mindset that you don't live a little. Just binge watch something. Go to Netflix today, watch Daredevil all night. Okay? No, actually not all night. Do it on Sunday night. Yeah. But the point is, people binge watch all the time. Right? You go to YouTube, you're watching Tony Robbins, you're like, yeah, and then the next video just loads and you're like, damn, this is so good, I want to watch this too. And they all of a sudden are fans of Tony Robbins. It's not overwhelming them with Tony Robbins stuff. They're just excited to watch the next one. What do you think Ellen does? Try to watch an Ellen video. Try to watch an Oprah video. Try and watch a Tony Robbins video. Try to watch my video. What will happen? The next video that will load is mine again. Same as for Facebook. Scroll, watch one. The next one is whose? Mine again. Why? Because you're actually you want to watch that's why you watch the first one all the way through. You don't get overwhelmed by it. You're actually excited by it. You all of a sudden now have 5 ideas from the same person. You love them more, not hate them. Right? It happens if you intrude in their space, which is email.
Yeah,
it's like you go to somebody's house again and again, but if they're at a park and you're playing the 3rd song in a row and they love the first one, they want you the 5th one, not just the 3rd one. They're like, yeah, keep going. I'm here, I have time. Right? So you got to think about it that way.
Sure. Thank you.
Cool? Go for it.
Firstly, thank you. This was really, really valuable and got a lot
So
out of it.
everything else wasn't?
It was all right.
Finally.
There we go.
Damn it, dude.
You got me, bro.
Yeah.
You had me at domination. So basically, all right.
Well, people like their ways.
Cool. Yeah, this is my shared beliefs, I think, that are coming. Basically, what I was going to ask was, of course, there's paid traffic that can be put out there, but do you have any strategies for organic viewership reach for video?
It's the same logic. So if you keep your videos, so for example, Facebook's algorithm, and now we're talking really algorithmic stuff, so I don't know if it's relevant to everyone, but Facebook likes when people are liking and sharing and commenting on your stuff and watching your stuff. So what happens is Facebook loads the videos by default. If you scroll through, you'll see the videos start to load automatically, and Facebook counts it as a view the moment it's crossed the 30-second mark, or 50% of the video, something like that. And what happens is if your videos are shorter, people can watch it faster. Right? Because it's just 60 seconds, people will stay if it's engaging enough. If there's graphics moving, stuff like that is happening. People watch it real fast. If you have text coming up, people watch it really. So what happens is organically you get a jump. Right? And then you boost it again if you really want to get more people to watch it. So if you look at any of our videos now on Evercoach, a video average view is anywhere from 20,000 views to 120, 200,000 views. Right? And the reason why that's the scenario is because first we get organic and then we boost it. We actually get people to watch it, and the same people to watch it again and again, to answer your question as well. So I don't promote my videos to new audience every time. If you watch the video, you'll always get promoted my next video. So I want you are the best person for me to actually show my next video, if you watched my first one. Right? So organically you get traction by keeping it short, having words on it, because a lot of people, and this is all Facebook study, is people scroll on phones, they don't want to switch on the volume, because they are, let's say, sitting in a meeting like this, but they're just bored by Ajit, so they're like you finally, I got your attention. All previous ones, you might be doing that. And you just watch the video because there's text in there, so you can actually see what the person's saying. So you just read it, but people do that. That's what people are doing right now. They don't have their headphones, they're in a car, they're going somewhere, like they're in their Uber or whatever, not driving usually, hopefully. And they're just reading the thing. So if you can do all of those things, that will usually give you organic reach. Cool? Any other questions to this bet? Go for it. Got time.
I'll keep this short, and yeah, this is really good content. This is all like organic reach. Now, why not? Earlier you talked about doing Facebook ads, like if you can do $1, get $1 out. Like, should you start here with the organic content, or should you start with paid traffic? And what if I just only wanted to do paid traffic and I didn't want to do this? Although I see the value, I just want to get your perspective.
So, yeah, so I'll tell you, it's an integrated approach. And now we're going to get really advanced here, but whatever the question. So here is how it works. I run ads directly if I know the problem, right? So you saw the first 2 blocks. It says problems running to webinars. So if I know the problem that I'm attacking and I can find that audience easy enough, I would lead with that always. But what happens after a point is that you can't find more audience like that, or the audience becomes really broad. The easiest way to get more qualified audience is to do the content on the back. So all these videos that I do is not only for getting people to engage more with me, who are already saying yes, but also to find new people. Because what happens, if I shared a belief with you, and you saw it, you liked it, what are you going to do next? Share it with friends, you'll tag your friends, you'll tag somebody, you'll send them emails about it. People do that all day long. But then they have a view, and I retarget them with my ads to come to my webinar, right? So I just found new audience because of my existing audience. So you are thinking about your existing audience, but you're also finding new audience by creating that. So it's a matrix of these things. It's not as linear as I'm showing it. This is just for showing the depth of it. But actually, it becomes a matrix. It's like everybody who watches the video should get an ad because they're already convinced of the idea of working with you, for example, right? And that way, if you really want how to really ninja it all, is basically if you have a view on getting a video view through Facebook by paying them money is cheaper than getting them to view an ad. Right? So what I would do is I would get them to view the video, and whoever watches the video, I retarget them to see my ad. So you're pre-qualifying using the Facebook algorithm, and hence getting a cheaper lead.
So could you view paid traffic as a supercharger to your overall traffic engine?
Can you view paid traffic as a supercharger of your organic engine?
Car model, but,
yeah, I'm like, yay, I don't know what you're supercharging here, but
organic traffic here is the main.
can you come there? Or can you pass the mic? Can you come there? Thank you.
It seems like the organic traffic engine is the main traffic engine, but you're using paid traffic, Facebook ad or YouTube ad, to supercharge what you've already created, or turbocharge or pour fuel on your content.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's just the way that I'm interpreting all this.
Yes, we use that. Yes, you're right.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. Come on to a mic. We're going to do maybe one more after you, and then we'll just wrap up because I have still slides to go.
Just a really quick question about how that works with YouTube. When the next one comes on after the previous one, is that partly a result of being like a paid advertiser, or would that happen even for someone who's not paying for like advertising on Facebook?
It will happen for even if you're not paying for advertising, if you've optimized the name of your video right. So for example, if you are searching through Tony Robbins, I'm just giving an easy enough example. What will happen is if the video have a title Tony Robbins and has related other text, the next video that will load is that. So if I found a Tony Robbins video and say, actually let me give you an example. So if you search coaching for coaches, if you see most of our YouTube videos on Evercoach start with coaching for coaches. The reason why that happens is if you search for coaching for coaches, if you watch one of my videos, the next video will always be my video. Because it's all coaching for coaches. So there's a thread, and YouTube's algorithm kind of knows the thread. It tries to find semantic words to try to say which one should be the next one that they should watch, because they were trying to find the most related content. So if you write the right things there, it will get you to show the next video.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll take one more question because I still have to finish this presentation, if there is one. If not, I'll just go. Okay, so the next thing is once you have done that, you made this product ready yesterday, so I'm not going to go into details of this. Hopefully you made one. Now what happens is that it actually directly overlays with those products that you might have created. So if you made that grid, you might have had those elements in it. Now I've just put some random ones. It may or may not be in your ecosystem, but if you look at our ecosystem, that's how you progress. You find our content in that way, and then most likely you'll be introduced to a book that we have licensed or written. So if you come to Evercoach, you might get the 3-dimensional coaching book, or you might get the Prosperous Coach book. If you come to Zentrepreneur, you will get the #Hustle book, right? So you'll get a book for you to get started because it's an easy yes for you to be able to say, it's a $29 or $49 purchase, it's fine, not a big deal. And you get a book, and then you get some content also with it. So it's an easy enough yes for you. Then most likely we would offer you something which is a subscription program, because that's something that is our priority, which would be something like a master circle. Because now let's say if you have enrolled into the Prosperous Coach, you want to be a better coach, what better to offer you but to say monthly trainings on how to become a better coach, right? So that's where you will get master circle. Then you might get offered into solutions. And know that this is also increasing their experience if you think about it. A book is an easy experience. You would read it. But it builds that connection, but it's not really like you're not a fan yet. Then in subscription, you're getting content, new content every month. You're changing their life every single month. It's building more value with you. Now they go ahead and buy a proper program from you, let's say $300, $400 program. Now the experience is even deeper. Now they're going, oh shit, this person really knows what they're doing, right? Then they're going in and coming to an event like this. Now, like how you guys said, and yesterday we did a poll with the people who are staying at between 7 and 9, and said, how many of you would want to come to this event next year? And everybody raised their hands, right? So that makes that experience even more, right? Now you're like, holy shit, these guys are really cool. They give so much value. They're creating so much value in our businesses, right? And then you can go and you can have your intensives or your one-on-one coaching, because now you're creating more and more value. So the experience escalation doesn't only happen in the context of free stuff, but also in the context of what products you offer. If you are running a whole online ecosystem, that is how somewhat our overlay will look like. So it kind of lays over each other in the sense of the content value that you give, because the first bit is the introduction piece to final things that they actually go and get from you. And it can go as far and as deep as you want to go with them, right? So your engagement or your experience is not always about finding more audience. It's actually working with your audience a lot better, right? And creating a profound experience with them.